But no worries. Tonight we're gonna go over all of my trades, guys. So I'm gonna start doing this in a regular basis, every single day. Like I said, I've been really focused on trying to pay attention to how I can clean up my trade better. Um, been following a lot of other scalpers like Max and also other traders that they're day traders and scalpers, but their trades are much, much cleaner. And I've been watching their charts, what they post on Twitter and whatnot, and it just looks so clean, right? Um, that also comes with patience, right? We know how to find the top on these trades, and we know how to find the bottom, right? Based on the average true range or ATR. Each stock has an average range it does per day. So, for example, like SPY, right? It'll move, anywhere from $8 to $10 in a day. So that's called the ATR, average true range. Um, what the information does is allows us to get an idea, right? When you're trading the stocks, you can see, okay, if SPY's already moved $5 to the direction that I'm looking to trade, you have to think in your mind that SPY has a probability of going another 3 points or 5 points. So now you only have that much room to play with. But let's just say, you're patient enough and you're like, you know what, I want to see SPY do its move at, get to like $8 or $8 move. And by the time it gets to the $8 move, whether it be to the upside or the downside, is there a major support or resistance at those levels? So then you can kind of game plan and like, okay, I'm gonna scale in from like, $8 range, and then I'm gonna give it room. And if the trade starts going against me, a dollar or whatever, I'm gonna either size down or just completely get out, or have a game plan that your entry was small enough where it doesn't hurt you significantly in your account because your overall plan is to go, let's say your starter position is just um, 10 shares, just for an example, right? 10 shares. And you plan on having, you know, 50 shares in this particular trade. So you only, you know, that much in. By the time it gets to like $9 range, you can add another 10 shares or even 20 shares because now you're getting closer to the maxed out range of that particular stock. And when it gets to, let's say, by the time it gets to the $9 range, it's still kind of going against you, then you can let it move to the tenth dollar. It's the max range, and you can just load the boat because your probability of that stock either just maxing out and it doesn't reverse, it just kind of lingers around at that level, or it will completely reverse and give you the move that you're looking for. And remember, the reversal is always typically about 50%. So now your move going from, like, let's say, from scaling in from the $8 range to the 9 to the $10 range, and it reverses to your direction, you're only expecting a $5 move to get to the 50% ratio of that move, right? Hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. Does anybody know what I'm talking about when it comes to a reversal? Let's
That's
go.
a major support level, and then and that's a floor, and it comes down and it goes up, or vice versa, it goes down.
hmm So let me show that in a chart for a good example here. Let's pull up AMC.
Is that 50% for like the current move from opening to where it is now, or just how many candles?
Yeah, so let me just share that with the screen so you can see it. All right, so let me clean SPY. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay,
Yep.
awesome. So we talked about the 50% retracement. So let's say, okay, you have AMC right here, right? Once it starts making a move, right? Let's say from the high, from here to the low, right? Because that's the play out that basically witness. And this reversal right here from the bottom here, let's say right here, right? You can identify a support level by looking left or looking at your different indicators and why it bounced right there. They can pretty much try to tell you that. Let's see on the 4 hour, on the daily. It's probably not showing on the daily, but then you have to look left. Okay, so let's draw a line here. Make this go to the left. So as you can see, there's support levels right here, right? Okay, so let's say you're anticipating, okay, this is the max range on AMC, and basically we're looking for the 50% move, which is right here, right? So as you can see, it respected that bounce. So let's say, okay, you respected this. This was the range that's maxing out. This was an example, right? So let's say, 75% of its range was right here, which is what you can see, and the 100% range is right here. And now you're loading up in between this area, right? You're loading up, you're adding shares because you know the range of AMC is maxing out. And then you're looking for that reversal. So the reversal move that you're looking for is right here, the 50% line. So you could have taken profit right here. As you can see, it actually did reject that area, coming back down before he found another support buyers and moving back up. Okay, so that's what I mean by figuring out the true range of its stock. Okay, all right. Any questions on that so far?
So after the initial push, right? What about the like every other push beyond that at the reversals? How do do you go 50 of those or
So this push right here,
yeah, the
that
initial push is 50%, right? What about the next push? Like see how the next higher low? Like do you go 50% of that or you still use the original range 50%?
yeah. So what you want to do really is let's clean this up, right? What I typically do is I look at left, right? So I try to find like an actual range within here. So let's just say this area right here is what I can identify it as a range because we're inside this range, right? Or you can use this area right here and this low right here because we're still within the range. So what I can do is I can do this, right? Pull that, right? And then right here, this is like the 50% bounce area. So as you can see, it kind of hangs around here. And then the between levels, you can use the same thing as your 50% or your top and your bottoms, and then the middle is obviously your 50%. So you can use it that way, or you can just pull per range. So let's say if the right side didn't exist, is basically what I'm getting at from you, is you can pull from here to down to here, right? So your levels are this guy and this guy because the rest of the candles on the right doesn't exist, right? You're trying to find, okay, how far is this thing gonna go, right? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, like as you progress throughout the day, there's usually only one top and one bottom. So as you're progressing, the range might get smaller. So do you rearrange it or you still use the original range?
You use the original range because the first two direction is typically sets the rest of the day. Like let's say here's one drop, two, and then three. And then the rest of this is going to be typically inside. That's the typical day. If you look at any other stocks, so let's go with like GME. Okay. It's similar. You got one, two, and then three, and then the rest stays inside. If it breaks anywhere after that, then it becomes an outside kind of day. This is an inside day, right? After it found its range. So let's find another stock. Let's see, mRNA. Okay. So as you can see, you got one and then two, and that's pretty much it. And then it stayed inside. So literally, you can do this on any stocks. It typically gives you anywhere from two to three directions, and then for the rest of the day, it pretty much stays within that. Okay. And you can use this quadrant is what they call it. Let me see, what's the name? Quadrant lines.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is like if you take it at the 25% line right there and go long, like like you know like because it's because you're only doing a 50% move, right? So I'm just thinking, okay, if it's really ranging and it's never gonna go to the top and bottom again, you have to do 50% of that movement, the new movement.
Hmm. Yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
so you have to consider, right? So this is layering your indicators. So anytime here, this is the 5 minute candle. Anytime at this point had no signals for you to get in to go long because there was no break on the 10 and the 20 SMA, right? We talked about that. So your entry would have been right here, right? And then therefore it would have given you a bottom already, right? So it giving you a bottom because now it's crossing over the 10 and 20. So now you can draw your quadrant line, right? The 5 lines. So now you have levels. They have the highs, the three quarters, 50%, 25%, and then the zero. So now your target is this guy, right? The 50% area is your target. So now that you have a high and a bottom, you have a clean signal right here above your 10 and 20, especially on a 5 minute, is a much better signal. And you could have gone long right there and taken it. If you wanted to just quick scalp, your first target would have been the 25%, right? And then as you can see, it dipped down, but it didn't close below the 20 SMA. So then if you would have bought this dip, right? Because we have a support line right here, obviously on the chart. So it's a double confirmation. So if you took that trade, your next target is this guy, which it almost got there, right? And then the downside is this guy again. So that's how you can use the quadrant along with your 10 and 20 SMA, right? And remember, like this picture right here develops in a day. It doesn't happen within minutes. So what's missing in this component and what I'm realizing is the patience to wait for all this to materialize is the most challenging part. Okay?
Dude,
Is the
this
most,
is literally what I showed Mega Man and Mukau
yeah,
and Chinja. This is it in the 15-minute time frame.
dang, I just read your mind, bro. I wasn't even there.
Yeah, this is like the whole study sessions we've been doing every night.
Yeah. So as you can see, right? That's very helpful. And I'm going to show you guys here in a little bit with where my charts are and how messy it is that I'm not in control of my emotions. I'm like, yes, I'm a scalper and I'm good at it. And the next phase for me is to improve on my trades, to do less trade, but more accurate and precise. And by doing this, like literally, you can see this. Like there is no trade in this signal that says, hey, you're gonna go long now, right? Nothing until it crossed over the 10 and 20 SMA on the upside, right? And then another signal that you can see is after it crossed over the 10 and 20 right here and it closed, and then it tried to sell. Look at these wicks at the bottom. Look at this wicks at the bottom of these candles. Like it told you there was so much support buyers here because like it's confirmed that it dropped, it's consolidated sideways, it washed a little bit more, okay, and then got back up above the momentum. So this is the selling momentum. It flattened out and now it's above it. And now it tried to sell off again and the buyers are like, "No, we like this level now." And it started pushing. And this is where you can use the 5 lines to identify your levels to take profits. Okay? And you, of course, if you get in right here, your stop loss is just right below here. So your gap of your entry is very minimal, right? We've talked about this so many times, but the hardest part is your emotion in waiting, right? This is 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Can you sit there for 20 minutes and be patient? That's the question. So, let's talk about. Okay, first of all, does that make sense for everybody?
so TJ, so
Go
you're
ahead.
saying that we only have basically one shot because if that was the best entry and we're aiming for the 50%, then that only happens once, like majority of the time.
Well, you have your your first initial trade. So, and this is all up to you, right? You got to be fast on the entry. So if you're a high risk kind of person and you don't mind like being a fast finger trader on the open, like this is an uptrend, right? And this to me is a long trade. So right at the open, right at the open, it closed. Actually, it opened right here, right between here. And then the moment it sold off and fell below the 10 and 20, that told you that was a short trade. Before the open, it was like, hey, this is long as long as the candle opens above and it stays above. Let's say it did open up here, right? And you got in long and quickly flushes down. Well, with logic and no emotion, this should have told you, okay, it closed below, right? And now you want to get out and go short. So let's say you did get in short right here, right at this level, right? Because that's where the candle kind of made a decision. And the moment it closed right there, you know that you have the 10 and 20 as your resistance, okay? Your opening line is also your resistance, and now it sold off. So in a perfect world, you're short right here, and then you didn't get out. You didn't get out until right over here. So you have your trial entry right here at the open. And then if you didn't get in at any time of this, you waited the whole entire day, there's going to be that second move, right? There's going to be that second move, which confirms right here. So like again, the the challenging part in this situation is to be patient, okay? Let's see. Let's go back to AMC because a lot of time you can short the pop on these trades like this one right here. So what you want to do is you can wait for this tops like this by identifying your resistance level. Okay, so let's zoom out. Okay, so you can identify resistance right here and resistance right here. Okay, so then you could have shorted against that or against this guy even right here. So now you have identified, okay, these are resistance level. I'm going to short against that, and if it doesn't, then I'm just going to get out, you know, because at the end of the day, this is a ripper pretty much, right? And you're above the 10 and 20 on this run, okay? But you can anticipate and shorting against the resistance level if you want to play it that way. And if you didn't take those trades, now that it's found about a bottom, right? It's found that bottom, then now you can use this line, the quadrant, as your trigger areas. Okay. This AMC is a little bit choppier here because as you can see, it didn't really present a clean basket, but it started presenting right over here. Right here was a much cleaner presentation to say, hey, this is a long right here, right? You have a much cleaner basket, and then from there just kind of rode up. Again, that is in the perfect world if you could just sit here, wait, and just process all this information and take your trades. At the end of the day, like you're not here to just trade. You're here to make money and play the best setups. One good trade, right? If none of this at the open or the first half of the day doesn't present a good trade to you, then let it be. You'd rather be flat at the end of the day than taking a bad trade and losing money, right? That is the perfect world. So now let's take a look at um, my ugly trades on AMC. Okay. All right. So here's AMC on the 1 minute. Okay. You can kind of see. I don't know how to use the all the tools on this one yet.
I
So
don't think we can see it actually. It's showing a black screen.
is it showing a black screen?
I can
Yeah.
see it.
I can see all the
Can see?
candles.
You see the candles?
Yeah, I can see everything.
Okay. So with the zoom in, you can see where's all that? See, this is why I hate using the DOS charts because it's literally this freaking ugly. You guys can see the candles, right? Yes?
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see them.
Okay.
and we can see him. Yeah, I can see him.
Okay. So just kind of show a little bit. So let me see if I can use some arrows. Uh, oh, oh. So right around here. Gosh dang, I hate this thing. Right around here. Oh, hang on.
Why not use Think or Swim right now?
Because this won't show. This is the DOS. So on, because I'm trading under the DOS platform, right? Scalping. And your trades, your entries and exits gets recorded on the chart itself. That's why you can see these arrows, right? You can see the
Okay.
up and down arrows. They're tiny. See if you can see them. It's kind of hard. Can you see them? You see the arrows? These are my scalp trades. I know it might be a little bit hard to see, but you can see
No,
them.
I can see him.
Okay. So the red arrows are, short entries, and the green arrows are long entries. But what I'm trying to get to you guys is, look look how messy it is. Like, I understand I'm a scalper, but there's also a cleaner scalping trades. And I've been really paying attention to these. Like, I'm trying to short right here, and I covered right here. Like, that's a quick little move, right? And what I want to do is I want to start cleaning it up more to where I'm entering at the, well, let me see if I can draw a trend line, horizontal, vertical. Let's see if I can enter right here and then getting out possibly like maybe right here, right at the bottom of this. Something like that will be that'll be a much cleaner trade. And what I want to focus on is like how can I identify these better? And we know how to identify these by using our 10 and 20 SMAs, right? We already know that. But the thing is, we're a bit antsy on like, locking in profits is good and whatnot. But at the end of the day, like we want to have a cleaner trade, and by doing that, it's gonna allow you to be able to scale profitability wise. Like you can once you get comfortable taking a small position here to short and have the patience to like, okay, my target is here. If it doesn't get here and it chops in between, I don't do nothing. I don't get it. I don't get out. I don't add. I don't do nothing. But let's say it starts pushing back up to this one right here, right? Then this would be an add area, an add to size in, and then take your profit on the next drop. But until then, if it's in the middle, we do nothing, right? And let's say we want to do a bigger trade. So let's say we identify that top there, and we want to take profit like down here, okay? If we want to take profit right here, I guarantee you, we can see this move, this whole entire move, based on the 10 and 20 SMA, okay? I know we can. It literally outlines this on a different time frame. So let's say your entry up here was on a 5 minute. Let's just for example like the 200 SMA resistance. You're like, oh, okay, AMC is popping up into the 5 minute 200 SMA, and the downside, I want to target like the 15 minute 20 SMA as it's coming up. So then, if it chops in between here, we do nothing as long as it doesn't break the 5 minute 10 and 20 to the opposite direction. So in this case, it drops down as long as you got an entry here and your trade is positive. It doesn't matter if you're positive 1,000, 2,000, it reverses, you go back to 1,000. Like this is part of controlling the emotion is what I'm really trying to work on, and it keeps dropping and it bounces up again. Like this green candles right here, this is where the issue is, or the what needs work on is you take a trade right here, and let's just say like you can see your P&L, right? And the profit is what's really screwing up our patience is when this trade right here down 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 and this is like a $3,000 trade. Like, oh my God, I'm up 3 grand, right? But then it bounces 50%, which is, that looks like a 50% bounce. Okay, so let's just draw a line here, right? And then halfway is about right here. So that's pretty close. So let's say you took a trade there and you're like up 3 grand, and this sucker bounces back up, and now you're only up 1,500. Now your emotions all fucked up. Now you're like, ah, oh, man, I should have taken profits. Da, 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 da. But then if that's the conversation, but you know, the uh, the 10 and 20, how do you draw this thing? Oh, there we go. Oh, look at that. I learned something. The 10 and 20 never broke, right? Let's just say it did get close. Let's just say it did get close like this, right? Down, 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 it bounces, and now you're thinking now you were up 3 grand, you went, you were only up 15, up 3 grand again, up 2 grand, like it just fucks with your emotion. But the trend never broke. If the trend never broke, you don't get out because your target is down here. Okay? So this is what I'm trying to mentally focus on. I can scalp the hell out of this and just make, profits here and there. But there's also been a lot of scenarios to where I've scalped it, made my money, and then now I feel like I've messed up my entries and exits. Like I don't want to chase it because this could bounce. Like my mind is now all scrambled up. I don't want to get reversed on. What if I should reshort it here and it keeps going, right? It just messed with my emotion. But if I just have an initial entry right here, as long as I'm profitable and it hasn't reversed on me or gone against my trade, then I should just sit tight. Just sit tight until target acquired. If target doesn't get acquired, but it's this guy, as you can see, it broke right here, right? Let's just say our target was, how do you move this thing? Okay, right here, right? So let's just say, you had high hopes and you're like, you know what? I think AMC is able to fade down all the way down this low. You got an entry right here and you patiently waited, and then it didn't hit your target. But the trend line broke, which is, let's represent this as your 10 and 20 SMA, and it broke, right? Then you take profit right there, right here. That's where you take profit, okay? But overall, you got to practice your patience, right? And you've taken appropriate exit based on the pattern itself. And that's what I'm trying to work on. Another thing, what I want to show is, which one was messy? Oh, VIX. Dang, this thing got, it's like, it was like a shotgun blast. Like, look at this chart. Okay. Can you guys see all those arrows? I scalped the heck out of VIX. Can you see it?
I made 3K today on it.
That's awesome, bro. So, but
don't touch my 10K that I lost, but 3K I won.
dude, but if we go back and show your chart on your DAS like chart, because it'll show the same thing on yours, right? But you can see this was like a shotgun blast. And this is what a scalper looks like, right? But I can also be a scalper with a little bit more patience and taking these trades. As you can see, I was making some money right here. I went long, right? And then I covered right here. And then I tried to short right here. And then I didn't cover. I added some more on this pop. And then it kept going. I was like, you know what? I ended up actually having to take a loss right here because it pushed up. I stopped out. I reshorted up here, right? I reshorted right up here. And then I covered right here. So I made some money. I reshorted right here again, reshorted some more. And that one didn't work out. I ended up having to cover on a climb up, reshorted up here. Like you see what I'm saying? But identifying like this on let me see, I'm gonna show back to this guy. Let's clean this guy up. And the VIX. Okay, so let's clean this up. I'm gonna show you exactly what I mean here. So right here on this move, Okay, so I could have found the top, right? Found the top. Hey, Gian, can you mute yourself, please? And then found the bottom, right? This was the bottom. Okay, all right, so that's the bottom. So we know that's the top right there. That was clean. And to be honest, I missed this whole entire move. And then I end up chasing it, like not chase it, but I try to buy the dip right here. Try to buy that dip. And that didn't work out. So I got stuck on two halts. One and then two, right? And that was a terrible day. The good thing is I only had about a starter position. I doubled up and then I doubled up again right here, which you can see on this chart right here. You got right here. So I try to buy the dip, right? Right here. You can see these green arrows. One, two, actually two rounds. I actually didn't add on now, so that was good. So look at this. You can see this trade. Let me zoom in a little more so you can see. Oh, this is why I like Thinkorswim better because navigation is better. So as you can see, I try to go long right here, and I could have taken profit, but I thought it was gonna squeeze some more because this was running pretty high. Um, Bad idea. After a run like this, and what's another thing I'm seeing is the exhaustion. So you can see up here it's exhausted, right? It's losing its rectangle right here. So it's losing its momentum, right? It's no longer just a quick dip and then rip. It's now struggling to push, struggling to push, struggling to push. After a big run, typically that's what happens. It'll flush because now everybody's thinking up here, all right, this is losing volume, not enough buyers to push it. Now there's sellers jumping in to push it back down. So the typical thing that happens next is a panic sell. And that's exactly what happened. It was a panic sell. And I got caught. I tried to buy this dip, which is my mistake is you have to consider this exhaustion right here. This is a lot of profit that has ran up and now everybody's taking profit. Everybody that bought anywhere around here, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up, is now taking profits as it's falling, and it just drives the momentum downside. And that's why it halted four times. Was it one, two, three, four? Four times, and I got stuck on two different halts. The good thing is I didn't go too big of a size. Okay, I had plenty of bullets. So I tried to buy the dip right there. I got dumped on. I added two more, small position right there, two green arrows, and then I got halted. And then I was like, you know what? This might keep going down. I identified this level right here. I thought this was gonna be the bounce, but when it resumed, it actually resumed much further down, and that was actually better. So whenever a stock like breaks through a major support, um, my expectation, everybody's looking at this level as well. Everybody's like, okay, I'm gonna buy the dip right here. Okay. So when it dropped back down further, that's when I really loaded. So as you can see, I added one, two, three, four, five, six different trades, right? So I sized up right here, and I was able to take profit right here and right here, and then I just scalped it the rest of the time. But as you can see how messy it is, right? I want to be able to start cleaning it up. Like I know, pay attention to the exhaustion candle after a big run. Short, like I can go a little bit bigger right here and then respect the level if it breaks to the upside, like this line right here, then I'll cut it, right? And then reestablish again on another level. Let's see, at a 30. So as you can see, that was all-time high. Not really all-time high, but that was there's no candles or chart patterns to the left. Okay. And let's see what else. Oh, my I made a mistake. So I traded Baba yesterday. Where is it at? It probably won't show because it was a hold. Was it 60? Okay, right here. You can't see it, but right here in this white line, right? That's when on the 10 and 20, this actually started to move up above the 10 and 20 after a long sell-off. And I figured this was going to start climbing because this line actually represents a strong support. And unfortunately, this morning it gapped down. I ended up having to cover right here where you can see the arrow. I covered. My average was about 77, 75. As you can see, I could have ended up making money on this, but um, I had to respect my stop out because after this run and then this doji candle right here and then another sell off, um, I ended up having to just stop out because I was hoping to for it to recover up over here, but ended up stopping out and then I didn't touch it the rest of the day. I was like, you know what, F that stock. And I'm also working on my revenge trading habits. So when I'm down on the stock, I have this mentality of like I'm gonna beat this stock today and I'm gonna trade it until I go green. And I've learned I've made my worst days that way. And so I was like, you know what, I'm down on that stock. I'm just gonna go move on a different one. So accepting defeat is one thing that I'm working on. So that way I don't blow up my account because I've done that too many times.
I did that today.
And I said to leave it alone, right?
You did, boss. I apologize. I will try to be better.
HYMC. HYMC. Look at this. So there's the day. Let me see. This is the 1 minute. Oh, right here. So you can see on the left. So this was actually pretty good trade because I shorted. Let me see. Rectangle. Okay, there we go. So I shorted right here. First I went long. So first I went long right there, and then quickly realized I was like, hey, this was actually exhaustion right here. And like it's funny enough that to like look back to go is like, dude, like you had the right read, and then I'm looking at a million different things, and then I forget that hey, this is an exhaustion candles right here, and this should be a short. And I was like, hey, that is a short because that's an exhaustion. And now we talked about boxing, right? We like talked about boxing like this. We're like, okay, this is the resistance box because right here, the moment it falls below that, now this becomes the resistance, right? And I had the right read. I was like, oh, hey, it's below. As you can see right here, I loaded up and loading up right there.
Which one is the exhaustion candle, TJ? And how do you know?
Exhaustion candle is when the candles can't is struggling to push up higher, right? After a big run, you can see after a big run like this, and it has to chop sideways, right? And then typically what you'll see is the 10 and 20 will start to curl down here. Okay, that's also another sign. And again, that's why I freaking don't like using DOS platform because I can't have all these fancy. I mean, I just don't know how to use it. I guess that's the better way I could say. I haven't spent enough time to really make it custom and fancy like Thinkorswim, but Thinkorswim has so much more feature and how intuitive it is that I don't even bother with DOS. I just use the execution platform. So, but anyway, your 10 and 20 SMA on the 5 minute or the 1 minute is gonna start curling down like a upside down basket we've been talking about. So the moment it fell below here, which was a appropriate entry, you can see all my red triangles. I shorted the heck out of it. I loaded up right here, and you can actually see. Let's see. You can see right here. I covered, right? I covered right here, and then actually went try to. I think I mixed it up with trying to buy the dip here as well because I was thinking this level right here was gonna hold this area. So I'll try to buy the dip there and then immediately regretted it and then have to covered right away. So I cut my losses and then I tried again right here and that I actually ended up giving my gains. Let me see HYMC. Yeah, I end up being red on the stock. So another thing is I gotta let the momentum play out itself until because right here it did not tell me to get back into to dip buy, because literally the 10 and 20 did not even cross until like somewhere down here. Okay, until somewhere over here. Like right here was the crossover of the 10 and 20 on the I think it was like the 5 minute. Let me see. Let's take a look. The VIX. What was that? The VIX? Are they talking about the VIX? Oh,
HYMC.
HYMC. Sorry. HYMC. Okay. So right here. Look at this. Let me clean this up again. Okay. Like look. There was no crossover until over here. So what is that? 9:40 a.m. There was no entries at all in here to tell me to go long. But that's the thing. My scalping instinct is like just wanting to get in and get out, get out. And that's why I'm trying to clean up my trades to be to trade less but more accurately, you know? And hopefully you guys kind of see actually the trade itself, it didn't present itself until a crossover long here. Let's go back. Yeah, right here, right? And this would have been a stop out, obviously, because it didn't work out. Okay. But that is the appropriate setup to go long, right? It's okay getting stopped out like over here, right? Because that's a small gap compared to the whole entire move. If I would have just been patient the whole entire time right here. Look how massive that is, right? We've been talking about this. And by like I'm trying to remind myself too that hey, be patient, just let the trade play out itself and until it crosses the 10 and 20. And this is why I turn off my P&L now, because looking at the P&L, it just drives my anxiety up to go like, oh my God, look at all that money. Like I don't want to lose it. Well, you're not gonna lose it if the stock doesn't break your direction. You're just thinking like, the FOMO's kicking in. It's like, oh, instead of me making three grand, I'm gonna make 1,000. It's like, no, respect the play, respect the pattern, and overall in the long run, you're gonna be banking and riding these waves, these massive moves, and this is where you make the real money, right? This is literally like hedge funds and big player kind of bank style. Like I follow this guy on Twitter and he's posting like over 100,000. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, he made just under $500,000 in these kind of trades. He's a day trader, scalper. Like, but his scalps are just massive. He rides the whole entire moves because he's worked on this. He's recognized the exhaustion candles, and he's recognizing that he's not broken on the pattern with the 10 and 20 or whatever he's using, right? A lot of them are using EMAs, which is very similar. And so no break on the indicators, you stay in the trade and
You wanna
just
sorry.
yeah, go
You
ahead.
want me to show you what I was showing Mega Man and Lou?
Yeah, let's see that. Let me see. Let me just make sure I went over
Yeah, just after you.
Baba HYMC. I think this was the last one. VIX.
TJ, is that on a 5 minute chart or what time frame are you looking at?
Yeah,
Uh,
this is the 1 minute chart, but the five
oh,
minute chart is also pretty clean. So you can see right here on the 5 minute chart is literally no signal to get out of your trade because I literally nailed the top on this. I loaded the heck up right here and I was banking, but then look how soon I sold. And let me show you again on the Thinkorswim. Like look at this. Zero. Like nothing, no indicators right here to tell me to get out, right?
last 3 day I've been doing that exact thing.
Is because of the whole FOMO of like I'm gonna lose this money. Like,
Yeah,
like unfortunately that's you know the nature of our being is like the FOMO of just like, oh my God, I have all this money and like I'm up. Like I need to lock it in. Well, a part of our strategy as well is you stay in the trade until the 10 and 20 is broken. Even even this bounce right here, like the FOMO will literally kick in like, oh my God, like I'm up, if you're massively sized in, like some of these trades I take, like I'm up 10 grand in some of these trades like this, like 10 grand. And then suddenly you're up like seven. Like in my mind, I'm just like, oh my God, I could have kept that $3,000, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. For
that's what's messing me up.
the thing that messes me up, I wouldn't necessarily say it's the FOMO, but it's I keep I keep referring back to past trades. So I've only really been trading Tesla on options, and
Hmm.
every time that it goes my way and I don't hold and I get out, I mean, it's 25, 30, 40% profit, but it keeps going. And like you said, the trend hasn't been broken on the 10 and 20. I use the 9 and 21 EMA, but it's
It's the
pretty
same.
much the same thing.
Hmm.
The trend's not broken, but I get out because I remember back to a time where I was trying to follow the trend, and then it reverses on me, and when it does that, it's too quick, and I can't react fast enough. So it just burns all the profit that I was waiting. So every time it does that, I tend to take profit too early because I keep referring back to an old trade that messes with me. So
Hmm. Yeah, and that's gonna be, the psychological side that we all need to work on is not having to like use past, you know, mistakes or the stock's behavior. Um, it's like it's like blaming your new wife from what your ex-wife has done in the past. It's like, right? That's
that's
the
pretty
best.
accurate.
That's the best way I can explain it. Is like if your wife, if your ex, partner was like terrible at whatever, and you're with somebody else completely different, and you like keep blaming them for what could happen. That's it doesn't work that way. So it's the same thing on the stocks. We keep doing that, and it's actually hurting our, long-term performance, um, to be able to respect and follow our indicators. Okay.
I mean, yeah, it is, and it's just hard to overcome that piece for me personally because I feel like every time I say I'm gonna stay in the trend, it reverses on me, So it's like it's all psychological, but it's just seems like the timing is always immaculate in that the one time that I want to ride the trend, it reverses on me.
Hmm.
So it's just hard.
Right.
But one question I had for you is, so in this, I feel like this market is so choppy that if I had your skill set, I wouldn't mind. And if I had that capital where I'm trading on a margin, I wouldn't mind getting in and out like quickly, like how you're doing it. But why do you think you in this market you're wanting to try to find those? Because they do exist, but I feel like they're less common than if like the in and out scalping seems to be more effective if you can execute that
Hmm.
skill set. So why are you looking for these big rides? Because I feel like your skill set is really beneficial in this market. Obviously, I can't do that, so that's why I don't focus on the quick trades. And on top of that, I'm not putting enough capital in there where I'm on a margin, so I can just keep doing that.
Hmm. So
I
my
would prefer to do that, but
yeah, well, it's for my main reason is I'm trying to improve as a trader as a whole, and based on what I'm doing is a lot of work, right? Like I'm glued to the screen, it's high pace, and all that stuff works. But at the end of the day, all the people that I follow that are like day traders, they're more of a trend traders. Like for the same day still, they'll take like two, three, maybe four trade in one stock, right?
and they kind of wait for the perfect setup and then they go all in on it.
Exactly. Versus
Yeah.
me, like I'm randomly getting in on each pop and each drop and all that stuff. Like I feel like that's what's driving my impatientness, right? And I want to improve as a trader. I know I'll have this skill for long term, if I ever need it when the market presents itself, which is now it's still good, right? But if I apply the same patient on the choppy market, could you imagine in a good market, like when the trend holds in multiple days, like I'll massively ride that move. So practicing on a choppy market
Oh,
to
I'm not
catch the
sure if
trend.
my connection's bad or not. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me okay?
Now I can, yeah.
Okay. So practicing um, a more cleaner trade on a choppy market is only going to benefit me that much better on a clean market, like on a very clean trend, you know, long several days trending stocks market. So I can always scalp.
Gotcha.
I have that skills and ability, but again, right now I feel like 2022 is I'm trying to clean up and more precise trades, you know, more precise trade. And again, it's just respecting these indicators that
Trying to
we
get
know
get
it
it right for
works.
the long term, so you can adapt to whatever market.
Yeah, because if I master this type of patience, dude, like
Thank you.
I'll kill in any market, you know.
It's so funny that you say that too, because it's true. And that's what I actually do. I only take 2, 3 trades per day, and I wait for the perfect setup, and it happens.
Yeah,
It's
and
just like it's just a lot of people do it in a much larger scale than I do, but usually you'll see me post like 370%, like 350%.
mhm, consistently, and because you know
Yeah.
you've been practicing the whole hey wait for the setup, and I've been practicing the let's get in and out in every spike candle and drop candle, you know. They both work. Like each
Yeah,
style has its own
sure.
market, but imagine having mastered both. Oh, dude,
Right.
you're
Yeah,
unstoppable. And
you'll kill it.
I feel like the people that I follow right now, it's the reason they're unstoppable is because they've been through so many seasons of the market and
Hmm.
they know how to read the bigger trend, right? And be more patient. And again, I'm trying to improve on the patient side because that's what's going to make you the most money as long as you follow your rules.
Yeah, and that's why I posted the other day. I said I want to go back to swing trading because whatever you just explained right now is what I do. I like buy the trend trade and then I just hold it overnight and dump it the next day.
Hmm.
But I don't even have to dump it though the next day. I can just dump it the same day because I'm already up so much money. And I think Moo or Mega Man can attest to what we've been doing lately has helped them tremendously. I know about Moo because Moo's been freaking killing it.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah, Mukau's
Really
been
been
killing
helping
it.
it.
yeah, dude, Mukau's killing it. He's been like messaging me like his place, and he's like, "Bro, I'm up like 40% right now."
Nice, man.
It's
Nice.
like, damn, bro.
All right. So yeah, share with your screen and let's go over what you got going on.
So it's actually essentially the same thing of you guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah, share your screen. There we go. Everybody hop on
And
Brian's screen.
honestly, it's like the same thing as what you're doing. So I'll show you 3 trades I did that I got 100% on Tesla, and then I'll show you 2 trades I did on Microsoft. So you know how you said you establish like the top and the bottom,
Hmm.
right? Like for the day.
Yeah.
The only thing different I'm doing from you is I'm waiting for things to happen on the 15-minute chart. That's literally it.
Hmm.
So what I do is I establish the high of the day, I establish the bottom of the day, and I draw my fib, right? And I see where these gets rejected because I know like the 61.8 is a rejection zone. So what I do is I wait for the first red candle. So this guy, right? So once I see that, I just mark the bottom of that candle and the high of the green or the high of the red.
Hmm.
And then I mark the 127 line and the 1618. And literally all I do is once this breaks below
Hmm.
on a red candle, I go short and then I just mark this as my stop loss.
Yeah.
Look how clean that is.
Nice.
That's literally all I've been doing for the
Yeah.
past like maybe like week week and a half now.
Yeah.
So I'll
And
show
here's
you
here's
this
here's
one
another
more.
confirmation too on your what you just drew out right there. Where your entry is exactly it's below the 10 and 20 of the SMA,
Hmm.
and the trend did not break the whole entire time.
Correct. And that's why I just marked my 127 too and turn my P&L. Here's
Hmm.
another one. Okay. You see how this is above the 10 and 20 and it
Hmm.
just did the crossover?
Yep.
This out. I just mark these.
Hmm.
I make sure it retraces.
Yeah.
Right? And what you know about hammer candles, right? You just mark the top,
Hmm.
you mark the bottom, and I just mark these two.
That's your entries and exits. Yeah.
Yep. So once this broke above, look,
Yep.
you just get out right here because that's an exhausted candle in the 15-minute,
Hmm.
right? So that's number 2.
Hey, B-Man's on that hammer candle that you drew the top and the bottom. How come you drew that top and the bottom, not the first green candle? Like the other one was a red candle, right? And then you drew the top bottom.
So
Was it
this
just
was the
because this
first.
was a
This
hammer candle?
was no. This is the first pullback. Remember when we were talking? I said I don't trade till about 8:30 or 9 because I'm waiting for these guys to develop. Remember me saying that? Like I'm
Right,
waiting
yeah.
throughout the day for these things to like present itself, right? And then from there, that's when I go in and out of these trades. So here's
Hey
another one. So
Brian,
that was yeah.
when you said you mark the high day and low day, are you marking the high day and low day in the current day on the 15-minute chart or the previous day?
Yes, it's on the 15-minute chart. So basically, once you see a trend in the pullback, that's when I draw my fibs. You see these? At the beginning of the day, it had 3 red bars in the green, right? So that's a pullback,
Yeah.
correct? So all I'm doing literally is marking my fib right here. Here's the low, here's the high. And then now I've established that that's resistance, right? And then this one's, if it breaks below this, it's gonna continue down its trend. So that's all I'm doing. I'm marking the 127 line and the 1618 line.
And
And once
you're drawing that, let's say, on today's 15-minute chart in preparation for tomorrow's trade.
no, this is happening in real time. So
Oh,
what
so
I'm doing is
you're doing
literally
it today's time, but just in the morning session.
yeah. So literally, I
Okay.
don't touch my computer until 8 o'clock, right? Because I'm waiting for things to happen by like 8
Yeah.
or 30, and I'm waiting for patterns throughout the day. So like this guy is the first drop down and the first pullback. So now that I see that this is a reversal candle, I
Yeah.
just go in the next red candle or if it breaks below. I get out at these price targets. And like literally I've been just like rinse and repeating these trades like every single it was BA, I think. It was BA where I what is it? It was Saturday. So this was a put setup on BA right here. You see how the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You see that? 5 red candles.
Mhm.
So all you have to do is literally draw your fib from that bottom to the top, and then you just see where it gets rejected. So this one, obviously in the 15-minute, it closed below.
The 10 and
It was
20.
hard rejection of the 50, literally.
Mhm.
So you just mark that top as your stop loss, and this is your entry point, and then you just mark the 127 and 1618. Check it out. Literally. Your stop loss right here and your entry right here is so small. Like I've been getting weekly contracts and I've been literally nailing like 100%ers just because
Yeah.
of these.
Dude,
And literally like
your
there's
your
no
stop out,
confirmation.
your stop
Yeah.
out is above the 10 and 20 again.
Yeah.
It's
And it's
it's the
it's
same.
literally so easy. And like it's actually borderline crazy how like it's been working like this. And here's the same thing, right? On BA. Let's just say it crossed the 10 and 20 and the 15. So that's your high of the day, and this is your low of the day. And then that's your hammer candle. You just get in on the high of this candle, and your stop is on the low of that candle, and your target is up here.
There you go.
There you go.
It's
Literally.
beautiful,
Oh.
man. It's clean.
Like, seriously, like you could even like wrote it up here and then just get stopped out right there.
Can you
So
show that
throughout the
slide?
day, huh?
Can
So
you show
and
that
literally,
slide?
yeah. So what I've been doing too is I've been drawing these stop losses throughout the day. So like on 15-minute candles, I just keep marking the bottom. I just do these, and when it breaks below, I get out of my position. Like unless it breaks below the candle before it, I'm not getting out. Like I don't care because this is literally an uptrend. Draw it and spy. Yeah, I can draw it and spy. Like this is like literally a rinse and repeat. Like, look at this guy. So from right here, right through the day, you got one, two, three, then the pull up. Correct? There you go. You see this big gigantic red candle, so you just literally mark the top because that's the green, and you mark the bottom. So once you see a sell off over here, you just get in and you get out, right? And look over here, right? It still sells off. It hits the it back. Here you go. That's your entry at the 100 line because this broke above. So, and then you're still holding these until tomorrow. So that's for the hourly. If you're trading the hourly, it's usually a swing trade. If you're trading the 15-minute, you literally just get out the same day. All you have to do, seriously. So
That's right,
just
guys.
practice that. And honestly, like hey Moo, are you here?
Yep, he's down there.
Or he's here, but he's like on mute because he said, what did he say today? He said he went HD calls and square puts, I think, or square calls actually. I think that's what he said today. And look, he literally messaged me and he was like, "Hey, I just saw a reversal candle in square." I was just like, "Okay, isn't that what you traded, Moo?" He unmuted himself.
Good trade.
Yeah, literally, look at this guy. Green candle. Above is your entry, below is your stop loss. You don't really care, right? Here's your target one, here's your target two. Check it out. Bang. Straight rejected. And that's also the end of the day. You just get out,
Hmm.
right? You maybe leave some for tomorrow.
Yep, because it's still not broken.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's literally all it is. That's all I got. And that's what I was trying to show you guys last Sunday. But my monitor broke, but it's fixed now.
Gotcha. Well, right on. So hopefully, guys, this everything we just talked about, this thing works. It works. Like most of the times, our losing trades is bigger than our P&Ls, but the winning ratio, win to lose ratio is in our favor. Like I would say like 8 out of 10 trades we do, or at least I do, it's a green trade. But the two that sometimes when I'm right on the day is those two losing trades are too big. One is I got too stubborn, and two I did not respect the indicators. So I know that our strategy, our entries work, our exits work. It's just the stubbornness of holding a broken pattern is what's getting the red days. So again,
Yeah.
I want to emphasize on that we can all improve on that. I can improve on that and be more like consistent. And we're still gonna have our 70 to 80% win rate, but at least our losing trades are going to be minimized. So that way we're always going to be green, and we should be green, because to be honest, if you keep the same ratio, you only need to be like, 50% win rate, you're actually should be profitable, right? In theory, you should be profitable because you should be riding your winning trades longer based on the graph that we've been showing you, and then your losing trades are cut and minimized based on exactly what the graph is showing you on the 10 and 20 SMAs. When it breaks to the other side, you get out. If it doesn't break, you stay in, and those trades are much larger wins than the losing trades. So keep that in mind. And again, you will get all this clicked in your head and really starting to see what we're talking about by studying your charts, looking at past days of behavior, and just start putting your lines, your entries, your exits. Could you have identified this entry and could you have identified an exit? Like practice that every day, looking at your charts, drawing your lines, using the Fibonacci if you like the Fibonacci, using the five line, the quadrant lines if you like those, and then just using the basic support and resistance. Okay?
It's yeah, it literally is the same thing. Like the Fibonacci and the 5 line quadrant support thingy.
Hmm.
All you're doing is you're waiting for a reversal candle to happen at that line.
Yep, exactly.
And then you just write it down, write it up at the same time.
Hmm.
That's all it really is to it. Like, like this is like in classic like trading. You already know this is like a bear. This is like a classic bear flag. You can't even explain this anymore. Like once a trader sees this is a bear flag. No matter what happens, all you're doing is you're waiting for the next red, and then you write it down.
Hmm.
That's that's all it is.
Yep.
And then like if you do this over and over and over, it's gonna be so easy. But just like seeing this develop throughout the day is like probably the hardest part, especially for not watching. You know. But since I know a lot of you guys are real estate people, so I know you guys can watch this throughout the day. Just
Awesome.
wait for the reversals and the breakdowns and the breakup.
Yeah, and the beautiful about using these indicators that we have, we're using be the Fibonacci or the five lines, right? The beauty thing about it is you just have to respect that line. If the price candle is above or below, you trade that direction. That's it. There's no ifs and buts, right? So
Look how
in a
clean
in a
Square
perfect
is.
world,
On the
look at that.
look at this guy. It's just literally all you had to do
Downtrend.
is rinse and repeat, right?
Yep,
Like this was never broken. Not once to the upside was this broken. It
yep,
finally broke. You got your patterns to the upside, and
yep.
now it's doing it again, right?
Exactly. Yeah, the
And now it's
pattern.
doing it again to the upside. Like like
You
literally you could just like rinse and repeat like Square.
ride that
Like you're like,
momentum.
okay, now we're in above the 10 and the 20. So now I'm just gonna load up right here and get out at the 1618. And then if it breaks tomorrow, you just do it all over again.
Yep, exactly, exactly. So, all right. So this session is recorded, guys. I'll post it on the coaching session and watch it over and over because I feel like tonight, just another reinforcement on what we're doing. It works. What you need to work on, what we need to work on is emotional control to be able to respect these levels and just get in. If the pattern is there, get out when the pattern is broken. That's it.
Mm.
Trading is easy, guys. The emotion is the hard part. Trust me. So,
Yeah. So this was my entry on JPM today. I waited till 8:45 on the break of this daily 61.8, and then my stop loss is up here. Like
yep.
I don't even care what happens because my stop loss is up here. But
Hmm.
here's my targets, guys.
Okay.
If I get stopped out, this is probably $200. If I make money, it's probably like 2 grand.
Nice, nice. All
Yeah.
right. All right, guys. So let's open up for a quick little Q&A. If you have some questions, let's hear it.
BMAS, you said that you marked the top and the bottom of a candle. Like this is your stop loss, this is your entry. How do you determine which one you place as top and the bottom? Like, is it on the reversal candle? Is that the one that you use for that?
No, remember we're counting waves. Um. Okay, so let's see here. Are you
Like
talking
on
about
that one?
like what I mark?
Yeah,
What? So let's just do
yeah, like the
Tesla.
candle you
Let's see here.
you mark the top and the bottom, the entry and the stop loss.
Like this one, right? Like like I
Right.
say, I just mark these candles, like this guy.
Yeah, how do you know which one to mark? That's my question, I guess.
So you need to see where it reverses in the fib, right? So when you see this reverse on your fib line, you just know which candles. Like you just need to know if it reached your 61.8 in support, right? Where it is in relevance to your 20, correct? And also you just need to know candlestick patterns. I think there's a video out there about candlesticks, but the main ones I look for is the doji reversal, the hammer reversal, and the morning star reversal. So the hammer pattern's literally like this, right? That's a green or red, right? The doji's like one of these guys, right? And then the morning star is these stocks are going down, and then you get a pop up like this. So red, red, green, right? Red, red, green, right here. So that's your entry, and that's also a hammer candle, correct? So just look
Oh,
for
that's
these
the
three
morning
candle
star.
formation. Yeah, correct. So just look that up. Just look up morning star, doji, and hammer candles. That's all you need to know if you're doing reversal candles at your buy zone. Like this is a pretty big green candle right here. See that? Right? You can totally see how it opened down here, and then the buyers pushed it up. So this was red at one point, and it immediately got bought up, right? And this is also the morning star pattern, right? Red, green, right? The three candle formation. You put a green candle, and then you just buy the next top, and your stop loss is down here.
I have a question.
Yeah.
This is for TJ. Um,
Hmm.
you said that you recognized that you were being stubborn on one of your trades. What was the psychology? Like, what were you thinking, and how quickly did you snap out of it, and how did you snap out of it? Like, did you realize that you were being stubborn?
Yeah, so the way I'm recognizing my stubbornness is sometimes a little too late when I get out of my trade and then I finally get a sigh of relief that thank God I'm out of a bad trade and I look back to go, you dummy, like the indicators told you to get out sooner, but you didn't. And then I start replaying that mindset. I'm like, okay, what was I thinking? The FOMO starts to kick in to say, I don't want to miss that that reversal because typically that reversal happens so fast, right? The quick little rug pull and the FOMO, hang on, I'll mute you.
Wow.
Okay. All right. So typically that FOMO kicks in of not wanting to miss that big rug pull that I have envisioned in my head, which is it's again, this is judging past trades and making it today, which is today is completely different, right?
Right.
And we shouldn't be doing it that way until it if the pattern is broken, it's broken. Just get out. Don't grab the yesterday's event from a completely different stock that did rug pull on that reversal, right? Don't paint that picture because this is what's hurting you to FOMO because you're comparing one trade to another to this trade today that's gonna do completely different, right? Every trade is different, but so I'm realizing it by you know after I cut it out. So now if I just cut out my trade sooner, I can think clear, right? And and that's how I'm able to just identify that it was a bad trade. Does that answer your
Was it
question?
so? It wasn't the indicator that told you to get out, but it was the losses.
The indicator told me to get out, but my
You
emotion made
didn't.
me stay in,
Okay.
right? Made me stay in for the hoping that past event will happen in this particular trade,
Right.
and that's where I'm recognizing my mistakes when I'm having these big losses, right?
Mm-hmm.
My two losing trade out of a 10 trade is those two that's gonna put me red on the day typically because I'm getting too stubborn to cut the losses, although the pattern is already broken. But again,
Right.
if I just follow the rules of if it's on the other side of the 10 and 20 against my trade, then I should just get out. Not say, oh, yesterday the stock, you know, rug pulled, and I don't want to miss that. Well, today is completely different. Today's traders is completely different. It's not the same traders from yesterday.
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to, and all the books tells you this. It's like, hey, yesterday's trade or the past trades is not the same today. Like trading in the zone literally tells you for the same move to happen, the same people have to be playing
At the same
at
time,
the same
right.
time at the exact moment, which is never gonna happen. So I'm finally realizing like, okay, so if today's trader is completely different from yesterday, it's not gonna do exactly the same. It might, but the probability is it may not, right? So let me just follow the rules that I've set of understanding these indicators because the indicators will tell you when to get in and when to get out. The mistakes are when you don't get in or when you don't get out when the indicators is broken.
It's the execution.
Yep, the execution, the self-talk is the problem,
Right.
right? Just if you can just plug your ears of your own head talking to you and go la 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 and looking at the indicators and go, oh, indicator's broken, get out. That's it,
You know
done.
what? You know what helped me lately, honestly, because I've been playing those 15-minute. So other than my P&L being shut off, like I literally can't see it, is marking my buy zone and my stop loss zone. Because like now, since I can't see my P&L, once it hits my stop zone, I don't even know how much I'm losing, so I don't even care. All I know is like I need to get out of this trade
Yeah,
right now.
and that's following your rules, and that's the
Yeah,
perfect scenario of being able to follow your trade setups. And we know our setups work. We know it works. I can show you that over and over and over again in a chart itself. Like the gap on the winning trades is so big compared to your trade that you get stopped out on is so small.
yeah. I used to have that problem. Like I would let like a $200 stop loss become like 500, and then like the next trade you make like 500, and you're like, damn, if only I got out in $200, I'd be up green for the day.
Hmm.
Like what the hell, man? You
Or
know?
get
And
out
then
in
like
reverse.
the relief of getting out of a bad trade is seriously so nice.
Oh, it feels so
Like,
it
dude,
feels good.
yeah, then because you see it at zero again, you're like, oh shit, thank God.
Yeah, your
Like
mind
I
becomes
get
neutral again.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, when I see like really red and I'm still not getting out, it's like I'm kind of just hoping it goes my way. Just it
Yeah,
yeah.
usually
I
just
sometimes wish
turns
there's a
worse.
person like next to me shaking me like get out already. It's red.
Like literally, if I was, let's say, if you're in a trade and I was over your shoulder and I see the pattern broken, I can literally tell you, get out of that trade. Right?
Like start
Yeah,
thinking it.
But
I'll click it.
if I was in the trade and nobody was telling me to get out of trade, I'm fighting my own head, right? I'm like, maybe we'll wait a little longer.
that's sadly like I think that's actually like the technical setups is already there. I think honestly that's like the hardest part because I mean all of us already see the same thing. It's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
getting out of your bad trade is probably like the thing to do.
Yeah, we
I mean, it
like
happens to me. It happens to me all the time. It's like I come in the morning with a bias, and I'm like, "Damn, why are you going up? Oh, Russia's bombing Ukraine. Why are you still going up? Like, what's wrong with you?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, but your chart's telling you, hey, we're going up. Like that's it. There's no ifs and buts about it. You can't
yeah,
say, hey,
exactly,
you should be going down because Ukraine is getting bombed, and why are you going up? It's like, no, like the stock doesn't listen to you.
exactly.
So anyway, so good session.
Yeah, I think it's more of just get your emotions out of it and just let your indicators and just put the stop loss and profit target and just leave it alone.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yep. You
Yeah.
have your target. Chart's not broken. Let it run, and the stock
Yeah.
will run. And we've seen stock like run for several days. And imagine if you followed all your indicators and just the indicator said, nope, stay in, and you get to ride that whole entire move with a
Yeah, dude.
massive profit.
And that was SQ yesterday. Like I got puts in it, and like my chart was telling me it was going to 94, but I was like, oh, but literally, it's at 102. I'm like, you really SQ's gonna drop like $8 today? And guess what? By the end of the day, it was at 92. I was just like, holy shit! I already had puts, and I just didn't trust it, you know. But that would have been like a 400% day. Like it was insane.
Hmm. Well, there you go. So let's all work on that. Don't get out if the pattern's not broken. Don't get in if the setup is not there. And that's pretty much it. Okay? So
And follow, set some rules and
set
stuff.
some rules, and I'm literally like I'm like Alex now. I got sticky notes in my monitors. Sticky notes
Yeah.
everywhere.
Dude, I'm about
I
to
love
like
simplicity.
you know in Thinkorswim you can write text. I'm about to like put that in bold on my
Yeah, you
screen
can
with
Oh
make
all
yeah,
notes
these
on
charts.
I'm
it.
gonna.
Think
Oh
of
yeah, I was gonna start doing that too. I was thinking of that. Putting that line right, your level line like
The,
this. Yeah,
the
and
text
say
line.
enter, and then set another line, exit, and then profit.
And
That's
that's
it.
yes, that's what I do now. But like you can literally put the text line on there.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
look at the yeah,
yeah. The text
yeah,
box.
on the
and
screen.
just
On
write in
the
like
screen.
don't get out stupid, you
Entry.
know?
There
Like, no,
Okay.
don't get out if it's not above yellow line
you go. So I can
in
do
bold.
that. Go massive. I can just go. There you
I,
go.
Yeah, it's just
I
Boom.
literally like overuse the bell.
Yeah,
The
right here. So you can
what
do
is it?
that. Entry and then exit. Like then you can just do that and just put an exit here.
Like above or below bell. Like what is it called? Notification or like the bell, the notifications.
Uh-huh.
That I've overused that. Like every day I put one where like it could possibly the highest and the lowest, and I'll put a bell on each side. Like if it goes above this, let me know. Remember we were talking about that before
Hmm.
about the notification
Oh yeah.
just to notify you. I
Hmm.
don't care if I'm blowing up. Like, hey, Facebook is below this and Apple is above that. I don't care if I'm blowing up. I just wanted to know where the
Right.
price are.
exactly.
Yep. That's what we need to do. Okay, so I'll do, let's see, what is this? Let's do 35, 36.
No, like I'm literally
Boom.
gonna write a note saying still below 20 SMA.
Yeah,
Still below
right.
20 SMA. Still below
You
20
got
SMA.
exit now or something, entry, profit target, whatever you want to write there.
And below moving average in the middle of your screen.
Yep.
Below moving average. Below moving
You should
average.
do like a notification saying that like you're losing so much money right now.
So
Like, oh
each
shoot.
one will be, it will be right there. So you guys will start seeing that on my screen. Entry,
Out.
exit.
Get out, dummy. Get out.
Yeah, get out now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're losing a lot of money. You're
I'll
going
have
to zero.
I'll have a template. I wonder if can you write a template just like a text template already?
I don't know. But my lines actually says entry and exit. Like just my normal the what's it called? The dollar line
Mm-hmm.
has it says entry and exit and all.
Can you save that note?
Yeah, you can.
Okay,
So
entry. There we go.
is
And
that
put
a
a
line?
bell on it too.
I think that's text.
Oh, that's no. This
That's,
Yeah, that's text.
is that text? Oh, okay.
yeah.
The line
This
thingy.
guy,
Just edit your line. Yeah. So that one
Yeah.
literally mine says entry.
okay.
Every single one of them.
Entry.
And then hit save.
Save as default.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then show name. Show name on the right side.
Show name.
Yeah. Yeah. Put it on the right.
Show on the right.
And then save as default.
Save as default. Okay.
Yep. So can you if you just double click?
It doesn't.
Oh, well, how come yours doesn't say? Can you edit it real quick?
Yeah. It's an
Oh, that's
extension.
weird.
Show
Why is
price.
it like that?
Yeah, it should say the name on it.
Yeah, it should say the name on it. Mine
Right.
literally says
It shows the
mine says
name right here. So save
yeah,
as
but
default.
yours says price level
Restore.
4.
I know.
Yeah, mine literally says entry. And then it
Every
changed
time
it to
you
exit.
click a new one.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah.
Why does it not save?
It
It's
says
weird. I
enter,
don't know.
doesn't it? But it's on the wrong side.
Yeah,
Mm.
on one, it says price level right here.
Oh, edit that one and then save it.
I did that. Show
Well,
price
maybe it
level.
doesn't. Maybe I do. Maybe I do change it every time.
Oh,
Can I ask a question?
You can do it as a default. I've done it before.
yeah. Go ahead. Question.
So if the candlesticks are ranging between the quadrant and the fib line, like what's the best approach to handle that situation?
If it's
So
ranging.
like
Reset?
yeah, like let's say yeah, right there on the 25% line.
Mm-hmm.
See how it's ranging between it?
Mhm.
Like what's the best like how would you handle that situation?
There's no entries or there's no entry to go long here. This is still a short setup because
Right.
at the end of the day, this is still a movement. Your entry would be below this line right here, the 25. You still have the 10 and 20 momentum on the downside, and then your next target is the next 25 down. The moment you cross over to this side, right, and then also cross over the 10 and 20, and then your next target is here, and that's how you play it. That makes sense? So
I
if
think
it's
he's
Well,
asking how do you find the bottom?
how'd you find the bottom? So you
Yeah,
can
because
do
like
so you can do it
that
this way.
example right there didn't have a bottom.
Right, so
With what you
you
just
can
said.
use this right here. You can use this top, and then you can use this bottom because that's already a move, right? So if that's already a move, you can use that level. So as you can see, it held the 25% area, right? So in this
and that,
case,
so you
it held the 25%, but there was no long entry until here, and then your next target was up here, but then it failed, right? It failed below the 10 and 20 again right here. So then you go short again. That's it. So the 10 and
Can you
20 in the
draw that?
quadrant.
Can you draw that fib from the first pullback?
Hmm.
See if that worked.
Which first pullback? This one?
Yeah.
Oh, this one.
Just
To
the
the
beginning of the
open.
day.
To
Oh,
the
just the
open.
beginning.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I guess that works. But see,
Yes.
there you go. Hard rejection of the 78.6 and bang.
Yeah,
See ya.
it hit target. Target right here. Like I said, this is still a short trade because you haven't crossed over the 10 and 20 or the 20 SMA itself, and you still have a pretty steep, trend on the downside. So
so
Yeah.
you should
but
not
then
be thinking long anywhere around here until here. This would
but
be
then
an entry
right,
for long, and you got
and
stopped
then
out. That's a proper setup. That makes
Okay,
sense?
so would you have gotten in at that 78.6 line since it usually should like retrace to 61.8 at least? Or
No,
you
No.
thought,
because it's on the downtrend.
To go
It's
long?
like
No,
literally.
it's a downtrend. It's a
okay,
downtrend and it has not broken over the 20 SMA.
It's just
gotcha.
retracement right there. And then
Like,
it showed like rejection. So
yeah.
it's
And again,
confirmation.
this like what I'm sensing right now based on the questions, that's literally all emotional trigger. Because your
Yeah.
FOMO is kicking in like, "Oh my God, that's a reversal. I could have caught that." Like,
Yeah, from the
don't
bottom.
don't worry
Yeah.
about I could have caught that scenario until it breaks over to the other side of the line. That's when you can get in, right? This is obviously a stop out, which is fine. We respect our setup, but it's not broken. Like it's not broken,
The
guys.
the other
If
thing
I
there
think you're
too is
loading up on puts right there
Yeah, you should be
yeah.
on
loading
the
up with
next
puts.
trend.
You should be
Yeah.
short biased this whole entire time because it's never broken. I don't care about the
The,
pop, like short the pops.
yeah, the other thing there too, if you're patient, is like if you look at those four candles, that fourth one is tested 78.6. That's the fourth candle, so you know that most likely not going to break if it's tested four times and hasn't broken yet
Hmm.
Yeah,
to the
exactly.
Mm.
upside.
Yeah, you
So
just
that's
be massively shorting right there for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
The other
it's just
thing I do when if I'm following my rule too is to help me not just reverse my biases a lot. Like when I do intradays, I look at the 30 and the 1 hour, and whatever trend that those time frames are on, I'm trading on the 5 minute. But I if I'm disciplined, I would not trade against the time frame of the 30 minute and the 1 hour.
Oh
So
yeah, for sure.
I don't go short or long. I just wait for the setup to. If it's short, then I wait for the short setup and I just go short. I don't try to buy the dip and then short the top or anything. So I usually use those longer time frames to determine which bias I should be trading under when I'm disciplined. It's when I'm trading out of boredom that gets me because I no longer look at that. That's my issue.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's what I was saying. I'm awake at 6 o'clock, but I don't touch any of these until like 8 or 7:30 at least. Because I'm trying to see
Mhm.
what happens first. Like did it
Right.
did it pull back? Like did it get rejected at the pullback? Like what's going on? And then you just
Yeah.
usually lately it's been trending. Whatever trend it did in the morning, if it was like a sell off or a breakout, that's your trend for the whole day.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Literally
And
every
usually,
single day. Huh?
like, remember before when I was like, I said that you should wait at least after the 15-minute candle to pass to
Hmm.
get a read on the market. And from what I've learned, the first 30 minutes of trading is pretty much emotional trading. Everyone's emotionally trading on the first 30 minutes of the
Oh
open
yeah.
market.
Hmm.
So just hold on and don't. I mean, anyone who traded within like 30 minutes is also emotionally trading or emotionally triggered
Yep.
by the market action.
Exactly.
Guilty.
That's where they get you too, because like they
Yeah.
they
Guilty.
they they like show that they're like pushing it higher, and then boom,
Yeah, they trap
Right.
it.
it's like oh shit,
Yeah.
yeah.
Me and
They
Alex talk
trap
about
you.
trapping all day. Like, hey, dude, this looks like a trap, and then boom, rug pull.
Mm.
I I'm
You'll see
actually
it.
gui-
Too.
I'm actually guilty of that today. I just decided to get into Microsoft the second count of the day, and then I was like, oh fuck, it's not working. So I just decided to cut it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Most
I
of
was
my
just like,
You're like, bad trade, bad trade.
yeah, like most of my fuck ups happen between 6:30 and 7:30, and like
yeah.
I think someone told me that already a long time ago. They're like, just wait.
Yeah.
And it's
I
actually
usually wait
so
in the
funny.
morning. And then when it dies down, I'll wait till like power hour.
Mhm. But I
Power
actually
PM.
just switched it up just now since I wanted to swing trade again. I wait until like 9 when like IV's kind of dead and it's literally not doing anything. Then I just see where support is or resistance, and then I base my trade out of
Oh,
that.
BMads, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Um, what's your most uncomfortable contract expiration date? Like for example, are you uncomfortable with the 1 week contract and you're more comfortable with the 2 week, 1 month?
No, I've
Like
been
what's your
actually buying weeklies. I've been since if I'm trading the 15-minute, I'm buying weeklies. If I'm trading hourly, I'm buying next week. However, it's been going so fast that I'm just even if it's on the hourly, I'm buying the same week expiry just because it's hitting every single time. That's how strong the sell-offs are and the breakouts are. And like
right?
it's literally going up to like 150%. But I'm like not comfy holding that high already. Like I'm usually bailing out at like 70, which is kind of stupid because I even mark it on my chart where to get off, right? It's just like the thought of
It's
like losing 80% all the way down to 40% just pisses me off.
yeah, and it's also like since it's a weekly contract, you want to get in and out like as quickly as possible,
Right. And that's why
right?
I think and that's why I said I'm gonna switch back to swing trading because the next week out contracts doesn't die as fast as like the weekly contracts. The weekly contracts could literally like you could be up 80% and then one gigantic red candle the next candle, it's like you're down back to like 30%. And you're just
Right.
like, wow, you grinded 50% like the whole day and then just one candle, you just wiped out all of it. You know? Something
Hmm.
Yeah,
crazy.
when I see like like a slow profit, like like you were saying, like a grind, I usually that to me usually means that there's a rug pull waiting to happen. So
Hmm. Exactly.
Cool. Cool,
Cool.
guys. All right. Well, that wraps it up. An hour and a half into the session. A good session tonight. Let's get ready for tomorrow. Cool.
All right,
Good
guys.
luck.
Good night, everyone.
All right, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. See you tomorrow.
Good night.